We're getting the bus ready. We're going to Ark.
We're like a mile and a half in on this trail.
A place I probably never would have come if it wasn't for this treasure hunt. There's treasure inside. I just want to say thanks to Jon, and I want to say thanks to everyone who's following us. We love each and every one of you. We're still looking for the treasure. Look how beautiful this is.
Take two.
Yeah, today I skimmed through it again today, mostly just what I highlighted.
Okay.
Are you a highlighter? What are you doing in your book?
I just take little notes on these little stickies.
Okay.
I'm trying to do at least one sticky per chapter. And then I just write down the things that jump out. And then I'm going to compare all my stickies at the end.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good thought. And then I also started writing on the edges. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to fill this book up with all my clues.
Wouldn't it be nuts if someone just like transcribed their whole book into a Google Doc so they could search it and like leave comments? I'm sure people have done that.
We've done that.
Yeah, we've done that. But we're back to the book because he said everything you need is in the book. So I'm under the impression that if you transcribe or like send the whole book in a text document to someone, there are some clues they're gonna miss. I wouldn't rule out like one of these letters is actually in 12.8 font instead of 12.5.
Oh, okay. And one's a little smaller.
One's a little, like one O is a little smaller than all the other O's, you know what I mean? And actually the whole chapter has 6 letters that are just a little smaller, you know what I mean? Okay. Where like if I copied it like we did, like with photos, it probably wouldn't take that over to the Google Doc, you know what I mean?
Right.
You ever thought about that?
What do you guys think about that?
You ever thought about that?
That's a possibility. We haven't dove that deep yet, but he does mention Will Straight Edge.
William
Straight Edge. At your service.
That's Mr. Straight Edge to you.
Just the other day, my 3.5-year-old son asked me if we could play together. His bright eyes seemed to me like lasers. Lasers.
Why does he say lasers? Second sentence. Is there a clue right there? Second sentence?
Second sentence, is there a clue?
Lasers.
Is it with an S or a Z?
S?
S.
Second sentence. Will he put a clue in the second sentence?
No, I don't think so. But I did have...
You can't just... Come on! You do this all the time with it. Cody doesn't like it. Throw it out.
There's at least one clue in almost every chapter.
So there's at least one clue. Like, let's assume there's one clue in this chapter.
Yep.
And you don't think it's lasers.
So what do you think the clue is? Did you like have like a boom, I think this is the clue?
Lasers. I just told you. So he starts and he sees his son making the treasure map, which just seems like a good way to start the book about a treasure.
Yeah.
Seeing your son draw the treasure map.
Yep.
Makes sense to be the first chapter.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of, I guess based on the intro and all of the title names, each chapter is kind of like one lesson to learn as a treasure hunter, right? Step 1 is build a roadmap.
Have a plan.
Have a plan.
Yeah. And it's apparent that his son had this. He knew this too. Instinctively, it's in his DNA.
It's in his DNA.
Oh yeah, that's the capitalized letters for this chapter.
Okay.
If you wanna.
Yeah, does DNA have to be capitalized?
I don't know. D-nucleoclubic acid. I don't know how do you say it.
Is it like if I typed it into Word as lowercase DNA, would it automatically capitalize?
That's a good question.
And then would that negate that as a thing though, or did he still specifically?
He just chose
it
probably
because it capitalized.
I don't know.
Unknown. Yeah, I mean this was my first thing that I thought was interesting in this chapter was there were Kleenexes to hide. Did you hide Kleenexes as a kid? Like I feel like that seems gross.
I might have.
I feel like Kleenexes that were in between the couch cushions, they were used.
They have been used.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. How would that be a clue? Like you have to find where Kleenex started?
How would it be a clue? Well, Kleenex is a name brand.
Yep.
You could have used tissue.
You could have used tissues.
Uh-huh.
So Kleenex will have like a state of origin. It'll have like a date that it started. It'll have...
Yeah, it'll have things that could possibly be something.
That would be... So you think that's how a clue could show itself? It would be like...
Instead of because he could have used the generic term, but he chose to use the name brand term. Yeah.
So if later in the book he's like Kraft mac and cheese, are you like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking into where Kraft started?
Right. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Possibly.
So you could call that like a brand clue.
Yeah.
If we had like a list of types of clues, we could be
Mhm.
like, okay, why did he did that? He shouted those people out.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then right after that paragraph, he says, first critical step.
Critical.
Critical. To acquiring something we desire is to have a roadmap. Do you think we need a real roadmap, like Atlas?
He says Google Maps, I feel like, right?
He does say that.
Okay, and then he dives into this, like, the history of the corporation that essentially had a good plan.
Yeah. Apple.
Apple.
Yeah, I guess this one is significant because he has...
It's also related to the treasure item.
Yeah, the really big treasure item.
Yeah.
There's always like a historical figure or a historical thing about the treasure.
Yeah.
And possibly somewhere hidden in there is the clue. Is there possibility of there being clues in historical facts?
So he says he didn't get any historical facts wrong, such as names or dates.
Yep.
Right? And
Correct.
even more stuff, right?
Yeah.
The list is even bigger than that. So does that mean I need to check every date and be like, if it's right, it could be a clue? And if it's wrong, he just got it wrong because he's an idiot?
Well, he also chose those facts, right? So he omitted a bunch of facts that he could have put in, but then he's like, this lines up with this, so I will use this as the information that I choose to put in the book.
Yeah, like I wonder where he got his information for this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did he read Steve Jobs' book? And
Yeah.
how deep do you think he went? I guess
Yeah,
his team
I
did
wonder-
most of the research, so he probably got a packet
Yeah.
of information.
I'm kind of surprised there's not like a...
The references page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be
Where's the
cool.
references page, John?
Yeah, John, where's the references page?
So I can read every book you read.
Did you ever know about this blue box thing? The like...
No, but we need to make a green box that steals freaking SpaceX.
Oh.
Same thing, but SpaceX internet signal.
Okay. That's a good idea.
Coming soon.
The green box.
The green box.
Okay.
We just have to get... I'll name myself Steve, which already we're close enough.
Yeah.
And then you just name yourself Steve.
Yeah.
And then
I am Steve.
I think we can make it. I am Steve. That is colors, though. If you want to keep track of colors,
Okay.
he chose to put the blue box in there and say it's color. I guess
Yeah.
that's its name, but
Well, there's a whole section of this chapter too where they fight over the color of beige, and they have
apple beige, yeah.
Apple beige.
So color is a big deal
Yeah.
in the map chapter.
Okay, that's a good thought.
Blue box and the second blue lasers. His bright blue eyes beamed at me like lasers. Sharks with freaking lasers.
I wonder if it is a true fact that he pitched it to them 4 times. So I'm referencing when Wozniak was working for Hewlett Packard and he came up with this computer, the Apple One. He pitched it supposedly to Hewlett Packard not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times.
And they missed,
Do you think that's
they missed
true?
it. I don't know.
Like 4 times?
Do you think Wozniak still TikToks or YouTubes?
Does he still TikTok or YouTube? What do you mean?
If he's out there, we can just ask him.
Oh.
Woz. What's up, the Woz? Did you pitch this to those people 4 times? Is that real? It could be part of a treasure hunt. Let me know.
No, check this shit out.
What?
Wait, you didn't bring my coffee.
It's still making.
It's still a brewing.
Okay, so that's a fact he chose to put in, real or fake.
Yeah, do you think that's one of the things that he is like embellishing? Like with his artistic flair?
Yeah, like in a story when you're like, I caught 16 fish that night. You know what I mean? It's like you didn't.
it was 17.
17. Like, and it's like you probably didn't catch 17 fish, but
a lot.
a lot of fish, like
Yeah.
at least 5.
Enough that you lost count. So like more than 3.
Yeah, that's where I start getting 17.
Do I look like Froakie?
Yeah. Okay, so big story about Apple. They start becoming successful. They make millionaires. Blah blah blah. Computers are booming.
Just as this book can guide you towards the treasure I have hidden. So this book can guide you towards the treasure that he hid.
So this book is a guide to the treasure that he hid. This book
Is a guide.
is a guide. What do you expect from a guide?
How to.
How to do it? Where to go? Take me there.
And able to succeed at the end.
Yeah, bad
Like
guide.
a guide.
A bad guide if I can't do it.
All right.
I'll follow you, book.
Okay, so it took me like 3 or 4 read-throughs to maybe signify the picture of Scotty from Star Trek. I don't know if that makes sense, but what I'm saying is...
Yeah, I still don't know if I'm on the same page as you, but I understand what you're saying, I think.
So Scotty has this device in his hand,
Yep.
and this device scans an object and tells you what it is.
In the show Star Trek?
In the show Star Trek.
That's in which hand? The circle one?
Correct, the circle one.
So presumably he's scanning the other thing in his hand?
Correct.
Okay.
Which is what they talk about in this paragraph here. Where does it say that? Oh, first Scott designed and built rocket ships. Then he worked to develop a Star Trek-like tricorder that would identify a solid material with a simple scan. So I think that they put this picture in there in direct relation to that. So it might... I don't know what that means.
Like, what makes you think this
Why
is a
did
scanner?
he-
Just thoughts? Or, like, did you
From
read
the
a
show.
thing on a show and that's
Yeah.
actually what it was?
No, I'm making all of that up.
You're making it up.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I just wanted you to say it out loud. But that's what it could be.
But that's what it
allegedly.
is. I know it. In my heart.
In my heart.
Yeah,
Well, because,
like
he could be measuring that circle with the other thing, you know what I mean?
Here, let's just YouTube it real quick.
Star Trek reference, and we also have the James Bond reference from the badge numbers.
Yeah.
So those are 2 references to just, like, older shows. James Bond was a show? Question mark? Or just movies?
Both.
Okay, so we had that. We had the Scotty reference. Did anything come of that? Your Google search?
No.
That's fine. Okay, so then one of the Scotts has a gem collection.
Yep.
Okay.
Perhaps one of the best.
Perhaps one of the best gem collections.
He does say if you want to find this sapphire and other treasures in this book, then think of these pages as your map. They offer a place to start, directions to follow, and ultimately a destination at which to arrive. And then I underlined this next part.
Okay.
As you encounter stories or ideas you feel you can divine from, write them down, draw them out, and organize them. Sometimes it takes a while for an entire plan to come fully into focus. The same holds true with most things we pursue. Without a roadmap, it is easy to aimlessly wander.
Okay, so, like, a good solve, I think, then, from what he just said, would be that have I picked out all the right clues from all of these chapters, and I sat down and I could draw a map. And I would be able to label the place to start. I'd be like, I'm starting here at the St. Louis Arch. It's a national park. Did you know that? And then, yeah, I'd draw some lines because of some clues that I found. And then I would have that map drawn, and then I'd be like, sick, I'm going to go do this. It matches this thing on Google Maps.
How precise do you think this map is going to be?
I don't know.
Like protractor, straight edge?
I mean, he does allude to those in the poem.
Mm-hmm. What about degrees on a compass?
Yeah, like, that would be a hella fun solve, wouldn't it? If you were like, oh, all these numbers corresponded to this compass thing, and you had to set it at that degrees and draw that many circles on, then all the arcs did something, and if you laid it over this map, that's where it was. Like, that would be pretty cool. I'd be like,
That was hard.
that was hard. Nice job. That was cool. Like, someone probably got that, huh?
Yeah, not me.
Not me, but god dang.
Good work.
Good work.
What about this picture?
Full picture of the sapphire. under UV light. So if you want to buy a UV flashlight and go through every page in the book.
But there's the books on the internet.
Oh, the ebooks?
The ebooks.
So you can't put a UV light on an ebook? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yeah.
I'd be okay if he was like, there was a UV clue in the book if you bought it.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised if there are clues that you can only have if you have the book.
Do you think there are clues you can only have if you get the ebook?
No. He didn't add clues to the ebook.
Okay.
But I think there's the possibility of
This clue couldn't transfer to
to ebook.
Yeah. Dang, we're almost at the end.
If Mike, Scott, and our son show us the first step in treasure hunting is to formulate a map, likely the second step is one of readying ourselves as much as possible to put our planning into action. So throughout this book, you will read stories of women and men who developed expert skills and achieved extraordinary accomplishments. Many of them are famous. Most of them crafted or owned at least one item in our treasure. Certainly, each one of these people understood the value of preparation. While most of these people have more recognizable names, none of them prepared themselves more diligently in their field of expertise than the woman in our next chapter. So he goes on, kind of closing this chapter off, going into the next chapter.
Most chapters have that, like at the end, a paragraph that kind of easily flows.
Yeah. So we had a discussion earlier this week talking about the layout of each chapter, about how he kind of, in the beginning of the chapter, he brings in a story of himself, of his life, and then he brings in the story of the treasure,
The history of it.
and then he brings in the lesson of the chapter.
Yeah.
So there's that mirrored imaging. That kind of compartmentalizes each chapter into 3 different sections that can then also be broken down to where you could compare the first section of this chapter with the first section of chapter 2 with the first section of chapter 3 and so on and so forth. So I think that might be a way that I'll try to break through and compartmentalize the book as well.
Yeah. Do you think there's should you pay would you want to pay attention to be okay, 1, 2...
Oh, number of paragraphs per se. Yeah, I wonder if anybody has done that yet. What if every single chapter has the same number of paragraphs?
Could.
What do you think? Write it in the comments.
Yeah, I don't think...
We know you don't think.
I don't think. I just do, baby.
Are you a gas or a brakes guy?
Gas. No, probably brakes.
Yeah, that's for sure a brakes guy answer. Yeah, what do you think? Linear? Because if so, then that means this first chapter is our first clue to get us to possibly a region.
Yeah, this would be the starting point clue.
Yep.
And he says blue 6 times, so it's probably we start in,
where skies are blue.
Where skies are blue. Quotes at the front?
I'm gonna for sure write down all of the quotes in the front together with each other.
Yeah.
Well, there's possibly a bunch in this first chapter, and there's possibly nothing. We don't really know yet. It's going to be fun to see if things compound or don't compound as we read through this book with you guys. If you stayed this long, kick ass.
Kick ass.
Rock on.
This has been chapter 1, the second video in the series of exploring every chapter in the book.
Chapter thoughts. The
Chapter
JCB
thoughts.
Hunters chapter thoughts.
Chapter thoughts. The 120 carat sapphire. Damn, you went low. Hey, if you could subscribe, please. Man, thank you. Like this video. Hey, this is my intro. This is the extra. Yes. Silly, it's an intro. This is the first time you've been out, is it not? But it's at the end of the video. You don't know what you're talking about.
now it's probably our exit now, because we've been out here for too long. I'm jumping. Ah!